All right, and welcome back to another episode of Yankee Content Central. If you're not subscribed, please be sure to subscribe so you can get up to date with all the latest notifications and news coming out of the Yankees. So, the title of this episode is Are the Yankees back in on Nolan Arenado? Well, this tweet came out last night, right after Yankees Hot Stove, from the St. Louis side, saying that the Red Sox prefer to sign Alex Bregman as of now, which, as a Yankee fan, I prefer for Boston to probably sign Alex Bregman. The reason being, Bregman's OPS and numbers at Yankee Stadium are awful, and we'd be able to better control that if he's only at Yankee Stadium a couple times a year. And the Cardinals have approached now the Yankees. They called the Yankees, the Dodgers, and Boston about reconstructed deals for Nolan Arenado. Yes, Blaze Jordan, who is a prospect in the Boston organization, came up in talks. And just that last portion was him calling out someone else in his comment section or there. I don't know who it is behind the phone. So obviously, nothing is official. Nothing is there. I don't want to say nothing's close because I don't believe that either. This came out a couple of hours ago. Now, Yankees and Boston are the two leading the pack in conversations, and they look to have Nolan Arenado moved within the next 72 hours. So probably by Monday evening, they look to have him on his way to spring training, just not with St. Louis, on his way to either Yankee spring training or Red Sox spring training. Now, I'm going to defer back to that they think that Boston prefers Bregman. The reason I could see them preferring Bregman, and it would make more sense for Boston at this point to prefer to go after Alex Bregman than to go after Arenado. The reason being, Boston signing Alex Bregman would be better for their team scope in the coming years than if they were to acquire Nolan Arenado. For the Yankee side, it's kind of different. The Yankees, because of the talent they already have on the team, can acquire Arenado, stick him over at third. He's going to be an improvement over what you had last year. And then you really have 2 to 3 seasons to decide what do you want to make of third base. In that time, Nolan Arenado's contract's probably going to be up around the same time as Jazz, or around the same time as Volpe. You will, at that time, be able to reconfigure your infield. Now, is Murakami going to be here next offseason? Who knows? The plan is for him to play first. Spencer Jones is still in our system. Could Spencer Jones be going to St. Louis in a part of our return? I have no idea. I have voiced that I think who's going. I don't think it's Stroman. I think at this point, it's probably Clark Schmidt. If I had to guess, if St. Louis wants a starting pitcher, I'd have to think they're asking Clark Schmidt or Will Warren. They already know, and this is the reason I think that they would ask for Will Warren, is because their division rival, the Chicago Cubs, who, when the Yankees were negotiating the Bellinger deal, asked for Will Warren. And the Yankees were like, whoa, 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 hold on. And we're taking all this money back. You're not having one of our good pitching prospects. That's not how this works. You can't have the cake and eat it too. So the Yankees were like, all right, we'll take the money back, but we'll send a 4A pitcher who could be fantastic, could be a bust. But we're not going to send one of our top prospects who has all this time left of service time in the major leagues to Chicago to bring back all this money. Now, the reconstructed deal, and I'm going to pull that up on this one again, the reconstructed deal is St. Louis is going to take back more of a prospect haul and eat money. Meaning, I could see a package being like Clark Schmidt, Ben Rice, and some other prospect. Maybe I'll put Spencer Jones. Those three. Now that might be an overpay. That might be a massive overpay. So maybe we'll put Will Warren. I don't think they're going to take Stroman's deal back. I don't know what the deal with Stroman is, but if you're Brian Cashman, and you're Hal Steinbrenner, if St. Louis is offering to eat as much money as as it sounds, where over the next 3 years you're only paying this guy 20 million over 3 seasons, that's pretty good for a third baseman. That would be one of the best price of a Gold Glove caliber. So I'm gonna do 20 divided by 3. So that'd be about like six and a half, no, 6 2/3 million a year. So we'll round up 7 million a year. They're gonna owe Nolan Arenado $7 million a year to play Gold Glove defense with a declining bat. That is less than DJ LeMahieu with more production out of that position. You would sign up for that if you're the Yankees, if that's really a real number, in a heartbeat. They signed Dom Smith. That can be your backup first baseman. There you go. Boom. He's a lefty. So that fits we would need a lefty to be a backup for Goldschmidt. Well, he's a lefty, so there we go. You could send Spencer Jones because you have Everson Pereira. And, you want to go after Kyle Tucker, and you have to gamble that Bellinger's still going to be here because Bellinger technically has that option where he can be here. And I can totally see Cody Bellinger putting up monster numbers this year and opting in, even though he put up monster numbers, but to do it back-to-back years. And the reason I say that is because Scott Boras called up Brian Cashman personally to ask, can you please go out and trade for Bellinger? Please go trade for Bellinger. He's begging me. He wants to be a Yankee. And Cashman went out and did it. And the holdup with the money, I think, was that they were trying to get Horner in the deal, and it just didn't work. And, how much did Chicago want to eat, and what prospect do they want back? It sounds like this is going to be more of a haul. I think, what Spencer Jones should go. I think that the Yankees are high on him now, and I think he's a very good prospect. But I think that you need to look at this as much as we need to win now. And what helps us win now? Having Spencer Jones, who is a maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, or having Nolan Arenado now with the defense he could provide you at third and all that comes with it. And honestly, I think the answer easily is I would rather have Arenado now than worry about Jones. I really would. So obviously, if Boston's top priority right now is signing Bregman, that deal's not done. So Boston and New York are the main final two teams that are inquiring and involved. So that's not just St. Louis calls up and says, hey, what do you guys want for Arenado? We have Arenado. Do you guys have interest? Well, obviously, then the Yankees were like, okay, we're interested. Let's see if we can get a deal done. And same with Boston. But I guess so. There was smoke a couple days ago with, oh my God, it's going to be Boston. It's going to be Boston. And then since then, it kind of shifted where it's like, okay, well now here come the Yankees, and now they're back. Boston's now back talking to Bregman, where it's like, okay, we can get a deal done there. You have to wonder, and it's a legit wonder. Was the whole Arenado leak about, oh my God, it's going to be Boston? Forced to drive, Bregman and Boras back to Boston? Because we know, whether you do or don't, Bregman's preferred destination right now is the Red Sox. If he can't go back to Houston because they're unwilling to give offers at what they're going to give, the preferred destination is Boston. So by that logic, why wouldn't you go aggressive after that where you're not going to give up some of your top prospects? That's the other thing. Boston's farm system is the best in baseball. I don't want to hear from angry Yankee fans. Boston's farm system, and they deserve it, is really the best in baseball. They have a fantastic farm system. Why are they going to give up some of those top prospects to go and get an aging Nolan Arenado that you're going to put, okay, he's a good defender, and so is Alex Bregman, but Bregman's younger and probably is going to hit better more consistently over the next couple of years. Bregman's more worthy of a long-term deal, especially because their window isn't 2025. Their window in 25 is to let's try and make the playoffs with the talent we have and evaluate that. Their window in 26 is to win the whole fucking thing. That's the window in 26. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to acquire. They're trying not to give up all their prospects. They're not gonna wanna give up Roman Anthony. They're not gonna give up Marcelo Meyer. They're not gonna give up there was another prospect on that list that I was reading last night. They're not gonna wanna give all those prospects up, a chunk of them. They already did that in the Crochet deal. So the pushback on what I just said was, "Well, they just did it in the Crochet deal," and I'm gonna rebuttal with, "Well, they just did it in the Crochet deal." They're not gonna do it for 2 separate deals this offseason and give up that much minor league talent. I don't see Boston doing that. I could be totally wrong. I just don't see the Boston front office giving up all that minor league talent twice in one offseason when these are guys that they've been preaching for years now that they're going to come up and they're going to be the new wave. You know, who's going to be the new, Roman Anthony's probably going to be a new and better Ellsbury. And this one's going to be a new and better Pedroia. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to recreate what they have. And they're not really spending a lot of money. You know, Toronto Blue Jays called up St. Louis and were like, "Hey, we would like Arenado." To which St. Louis then checked in with Nolan. So I'm going to push back on something else in a second. They they checked in with Nolan and his agent Joel Wolf, who also represents Sasaki, but separate issue. Called up Joel Wolf and was like, "Hey, would you have interest in going to Toronto?" And Arenado was like, "F no, not happening. I'm not going to Canada. I'm not going to Toronto. They're out. That's not happening." The Dodgers seem to really not have interest from what I'm gathering. Now, that doesn't mean they won't in a couple of days because it's the Dodgers. Things can change. But as of this second, as of what's been reported latest, the Dodgers were approached to for a trade and I guess have said no. We're like, yeah, let's not right now. Is what I'm gathering and understanding. And that's there. I mean, I thought the Dodgers would be in on this. It also it I just got something else that just got tweeted at me, about this Arenado thing. It just seems like every Yankee source says there's no interest on the Yankees and for Arenado, that the interest is coming from the Cards side instead, and the Yankees are still not interested. I don't believe that at all. I don't know why the Yankee side is saying that there's no interest or, there might not be interest or only, Hoke said if they clear money. Andy Martino, I don't believe a word out of his mouth. And, I I believe Hoke and he's like, if the deal's right, if the deal's right, well, that's it. A deal's gonna get done if the deal's right. And the deal has to be right for both sides. If the St. Louis Cardinals are really desperate to trade Arenado this weekend, like what was reported, 72 hours he's gone is pretty much what was said. He's either going to Tampa or wherever they practice. Then what that tells me is either Bregman's coming off the board and wherever he's going, they have deals in place, or it's going to be like, we're not waiting for Bregman. We need to move off of this guy now so we can figure out our internal plans. Who wants him. And at that point, if Boston really is still pursuing Alex Bregman and think they have a real shot at him, and the Yankees are just the only other team, then the Cardinals are going to have to come down to what Cashman wants. Now, what I think is going on from the Yankee side is there's interest just at what the Yankees' price is. There might not be interest at what the Cardinals want. So right now, if the Cardinals are willing to eat a substantial amount of money, the way Cashman kind of phrased it last night is, oh, I don't know, kind of talked around a lot of things. So the way I see it is I could totally see this happening. LA could be in the final moments, and like this tweet says from Cardinals Live, who's a very good source, by the way, and that's why I believe this. If they creeped in the final moments because they want to make this interesting, then it would be certainly interesting. But right now, I really do think it is between the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. And I don't know who has an advantage. We know officially that names have been talked about with Boston. But from what this is saying, probably the same with the Yankees if they're at the same level right now in these negotiations. I really don't see how big of a fit it would be for Boston. Now he'd mash off the monster, and that wouldn't be a problem. He'd be very good off the monster, but so would Alex Bregman. And Bregman, younger, would actually translate better to a position change. The other thing was they were trying to move Casas over in Boston, and you can maybe move Arenado to first or Raffy to first. Raffy doesn't want to move, and they haven't moved Casa yet, and I don't think they're doing it in this deal because, to my knowledge, I believe, and I'm going to double check on this right now. I think that the Cardinals have a first baseman. I feel like they're trying to make a way for Gorman to come up and be third base. I forget who's first base, and I'm going to tell you right now because I'm going on their roster. But I think they already have one, so they wouldn't need. Oh my God, they have a lot of active pitchers. They only have infielders listed. Oh, Mason Wynn. I think Mason Wynn's a first baseman. He might be a second baseman. I don't remember what position he plays. But I know Mason Wynn they're high on. Position. Why does it not say position? Like, am I just like missing it? Fielding. I'm trying to find what position he plays. Game logs. But anyways, what I'm saying is I think they already have a first baseman. I mean, they just lost Arenado, so maybe they don't. I mean, Goldschmidt's the Yankees. Goldschmidt played first base for them last year. So do they have one? Cardinals first base depth chart. First base. Okay, so they have Alec Burleson and Lukian Baker. So Lukian Baker looks like he's a prospect. He's on their depth chart. He has 126 games, so maybe he's just young. The numbers don't look super great on him, like at all. They also have 41-year-old Alec Burleson, who actually had pretty decent numbers in 2024. What team was he on in 24? It looks like he was on the Cardinals. So he has decent numbers with St. Louis. I guess he was just an infielder all around the infield. And now I guess they can probably move him permanently to first, or he was a platoon. No, he was also in left field and right field and a DH. So he looks like he moves around and could play first base for St. Louis. So it looks like St. Louis is set with first base, and I don't know how much space they would have for Tristan Casas. So, how that going to work for Boston? Arenado then wouldn't fit the mold there, but Bregman would because, Alex Cora has been outspoken saying that he sees Alex Bregman as more of a second baseman than a third baseman. Whereas if you put him at second base, that would probably be a lot better for the Yankees to do. I mean, not for the Yankees, for Boston to do. And then you're just going to have him, bang doubles off the monster. He's more athletic. He's quicker. You could say to me, and it's a valid argument. Well, shouldn't the Yankees then pursue Alex Bregman? Yeah, but they don't want to because they know that Bregman wants a long-term deal. And the Yankees, rightfully so, right now are kind of scared to get into a long-term deal. With Nolan Arenado, it's only a 3-year commitment. A 3-year commitment that, he put up numbers last year. I pulled up the chart. I'll see if I can find it in my posts, and I'll put it up on the screen in a second, that he was very close. His numbers were better than Gleyber Torres last year. Public enemy number one right now. I think he's public enemy over, Soto right now for the Yankee fan. And I don't think it should ever be like that because, everything Gleyber did over the years. But it feels like right now Gleyber is like literally public enemy number one. No one likes him after what was said yesterday, and we all knew what was said yesterday, what Cash said. We all knew it. We all knew what was going on. We all knew he was reluctant to move. It wasn't new news, it was just confirmed. That's all that was. It was just confirmed. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't whatever it was. It wasn't, speculated. It was confirmed. And, to confirm it, it's like, we all knew that's what happened. We all knew that Torres was unreluctant to move, and kind of rightfully so. That was the position that if they helped him through the minor leagues and through the Yankee system, you know, and bred him to be a first baseman or a third baseman, or, they really should have, with Torres, have bred him to be an infielder so he could play every position, not just, second and short. For those who don't know, Gleyber Torres came up as a shortstop. And then his defense was just such a disaster at short, they moved him to second. Well, at that point, they should have moved him to third, but they didn't because they had just acquired DJ LeMahieu. And they had other prospects for third. They had Urshela. Then they acquired LeMahieu, who could play anywhere. He was playing second. He was playing first base. LeMahieu can really play anywhere on the infield, which is, helps his versatility and probably why he's on the team still. Besides GM Judge, going to Cashman and saying we can't PFA him, that'd be mean. We can't do that. That'd just be too mean to a guy who's meant too much to us. But I'm going to pull up the stats. They're downloading right now. And I'm going to pull up the stats. I have them between Arenado and Gleyber last year. And they are very similar, like scary similar. To the point where it's like, this is something that we need to look into. This might be more of a fit to get Arenado than we thought it was before. Let's bring these up. Because right now, Arenado, I guess, just posted Manny Ramirez highlights, so maybe he is going to Boston. That could be. I'm gonna check on that to see if that's true right now, because that would literally negate the whole point of this podcast, which would be funny. Okay, so that's there. Those are the things I'm looking up. Nolan Arenado. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it wasn't Red Sox highlights. It was Cleveland Guardians highlights. Let's see. Let's see mutual followers. Following. Red. Nope. Yang. Nope. Card. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what that means. It could be nothing. It could be a lot. But that is true. So that's there. But until it's official, I guess we can fantasize. I don't know. That could literally be him seeing a highlight and posting it. It could also mean it wasn't him in a Red Sox uniform. It was him in Cleveland. So could he be going to Minnesota? That'd be cool. Out of left field, he's going to Minnesota and they're shipping this one away. They're shipping away Correa. That'd be funny. But right now, from what we see here, Arenado was a better player last year than Gleyber Torres was. The batting average was a lot better. The on-base percentage was very close. Same OPS plus. Less stolen bases, but Gleyber didn't steal anyway. So that's a non-factor at this point. Less plate appearances in 2 less games, but a lot less plate appearances. But was more productive over the plate appearances he did have, which is more impressive to me. So weigh apples and oranges with that. I think Gleyber Torres, being gone is a good thing, and you also have to factor in Nolan Arenado's defense is, like, supremely better than Gleyber Torres' defense ever was or ever will be. But I feel like I'm on here all the time talking about, you know, I feel like this is like the fifth time this offseason we're like, Arenado, Arenado, the Arenado fever dream coming up. And then, it gets shot down again and again and again. Some are saying he might be here, some are saying he's not going to be here. I really just don't know. I really have no idea. Um, Someone posted, yeah, that's not happening. Like a stupid like mock trade. This is what it was. Yankees received Arenado, Ryan Helsley, and Eric Fetty or Sonny Gray. Cardinals received Marcus Stroman, Spencer Jones, Roderick Arias, Will Warren, Chase Hampton, and draft picks. No way. That's not even close to worth it. Honestly, you want my opinion? I don't know if this gets done or not. I will say this. If Boston, if this is really true, and I'm gonna pull it back up, and this was tweeted. This is what was tweeted. The Red Sox prefer to sign Alex Bregman instead of trading for Nolan Arenado. They prefer to sign Bregman. That doesn't mean they're guaranteed to sign him, but the likelihood of Bregman coming off the board in the next 48 hours, based on where negotiations are now, and there's 100 people in, so thank you all for your support. The likelihood of him coming off the board now is very unlikely. Completely unlikely. I could be totally wrong on that one too. I just don't see Alex Bregman coming off the board right now. I think he's going to be on the board for, a little longer. I think, him and Boris are really trying to milk this out. And I think the Red Sox, I think they have a good chance of getting that deal done. If they're willing to conform to what Boris wants, they're going to get a deal done. I could totally see them getting a deal done. And would that scare me? Him being in the East, yeah, but he's going to scare me if he's in the American League. The only thing that would excite me as a Yankee fan is if the Cubs sign Alex Bregman, and then we get Nico Horner, and then and then Arenado would end up probably going to Boston, and then you get Bregman, who's the better player, out of the American League. We get Nico Horner to the Yankees, who they've had interest with all offseason. And then, it's just a non-factor. It's just, it is what it is at that point. That's what I would love. That would be ideal because I think Horner is more athletic and he's a leadoff hitter, and he'd fit the mold better of what the Yankees need. I'd be satisfied with Arenado at this point because I think that we are at the point of the Yankee offseason that we need improvement and we need it quick. And we've waited for how long now for improvement on this Yankee team? The last real big move was right before Christmas on December 21st when they signed Paul Goldschmidt. That was the first that was the last huge move. Now, Tim Hill, that deal was always getting done. There was mutual interest all off season. That was more of the logistics of the deal. It was always probably going to get done. I know there was interest from the Dodgers and the Rockies and the Giants and the Mets and other teams in there. But, Tim Hill expressed before he really hit free agency, as soon as the World Series was over, that he wanted to come back. He wanted to be a Yankee. He wanted to be a Yankee. It was more of, okay, we need to prioritize our priorities. Then we need to see how the market's going. And once Danny Coulombe or whatever his name is, went to Minnesota, it was like, all right, now we got to get real because we can't get stuck with Andrew Chafin. Andrew Chafin's a fine pitcher, not for Yankee Stadium. He's, he is the opposite of Tim Hill. Tim Hill's a ground ball pitcher. He does not really give up the long ball. he's one that's gonna hurt you on the soft contact. Andrew Chafin is gonna get you on the long ball and then some. Andrew Chafin gives up a lot of home runs. He has not really in his career ever pitched exceptionally well in Yankee Stadium. Like this past year, he gave up a ton of runs in Yankee Stadium, including back-to-back home runs from DX from guy in Queens and Judge. He gave back-to-back jacks to them, and Chafin hasn't really. I don't think he would have fit the mold for the clubhouse with the Yankees either. I don't think Chafin really would have been that good of a clubhouse guy for the Yankees at all. So I definitely think Tim Hill was the move. And he's familiar. He's pitched in the spotlight. He pitched in the postseason. He only gave up one run in all of his appearances in the postseason, 8 innings, one run, through, rounds in the postseason, 3 rounds. I'd sign up for that any day. He was reliable every time he came in. He was reliable most of the time through the regular season. He was really good for the Yankees. And that's a really good deal it's pretty much the Weaver deal all over again. So that's a good deal that you got. And now that allows you to look at this and look at prioritizing trying to get an infielder. Cashman didn't say, he was trying to say, we want this, we want this. But we don't know. Could the Yankees send Oswald Peraza or Oswaldo Cabrera? I wouldn't put it past them. And I do know that there was interest. I don't know if it was from St. Louis specifically, but I do know that other teams that called up this offseason asking for Cabrera and asking for other players. So, could that be worked into a deal? I'm sure St. Louis has this information like, ooh, well, maybe our division rival was interested in Cabrera, or our division rival wanted, and this we know for a fact, they wanted Will Warren. They wanted him bad, and the Yankees were reluctant because of how much they had to take back for the Bellinger deal. Well, now St. Louis has the leverage where it's like, okay, would you guys be willing to give us Will Warren? Now that you went out and got, your spot starter in Cookie Carrasco. That's what I see. I see Ben Rice going too. They went out and got Don Smith. The Yankees made some moves this offseason. They went out and got Don Smith, like I just mentioned. They went out and got Carlos Carrasco. They went out and got this guy and that guy and the other guy. Mark Leiter Jr. was another name today that was like, yesterday, maybe he could fit the mold of the bullpen. Well, let's maybe. Does that mean you're maybe going to flip him to St. Louis? Is that what that is? Since you're saving money on his contract and Jazz's deal? For whatever reason, Jazz, for both sides of the arbitration deal, he's making less money than we all assumed Jazz was going to make, which is so weird. He's making a lot less money than what all the projections thought. And in terms of projections, I posted this on Instagram today. If you're not following on Instagram, it's at Yankees Content Central. I'm going to put that up on the screen right now for you all to see. But I put this up on Instagram on my other one, Between the Bases, and I'm doing it for division by division for that one. And I put the Yankee one on there, but I collaborated with myself pretty much. And this is what Fangraphs has as the projected lineup for the New York Yankees heading into 2024. I have to say, it's kind of pathetic. I don't even think this will be the lineup, so that's the Instagram. I'm going to specify that. I don't think this is going to be the lineup. I'm probably going to do the ticker next time. Anyways, I don't think this is going to be the lineup come opening day. And okay, so I think we just got like confirmation on the Manny Ramirez thing. It was more of he's watching the highlights down there of like he's watching the Caribbean series, and I guess Manny Ramirez is like a manager or something, I guess, and that's why. I mean, I have no idea, but that's what someone just said. So, okay, I hope that's true. But this is the Fangraphs projected lineup for the Yankees in 2024. Um, it still says RotoChamp. Same thing. It had the same exact lineup on both. Um, the projected record is 87 and 75. I think that's lowballing. MLB had it higher, but I wanted to go off of the one on Fangraphs. It's the same if you were to go to Fangraphs depth chart lineup, whatever it was called, is on there. And I have it on my other screen right here. This is a great site. It has all the payrolls. It's on the roster resource depth charts. And if you click on each team, it has a lineup right there. It has like the projected lineup against the lefty, projected lineup against the righty for opening day, or the good to go starting line, projected go-to starting lineup versus a right-handed pitcher. So typically in baseball, right-handed pitchers are the most common pitchers to have. So it has Volpe, Jazz, Judge, Goldie, Belly, Stanton, Wells, Dominguez, Cabrera. And then on the bench, it has, I'm reading on my other screen, so if I like getting cut off, Alex Jackson, who got a non-roster invite to spring training, DJ LeMahieu, Oswald Peraza, and Trent Grisham. Those are the players. I'm gonna throw this in the link or in the chat and comment section. I don't know if that works on this, so we're gonna try it for the first time. But I'm gonna throw that in there. This is a great resource. A lot of the information I relay in terms of roster innovation, stuff like that. Okay, so I guess it only went to YouTube. If you follow on YouTube, that's the link. You could probably type into Google Fangraphs roster resource depth chart. Let me see. I could probably go to X and just comment on there. In fact, that's what I'll do. Just so we're clear. This is a great resource. So I'm commenting on there right now. With this Fangraphs projection. So Fangraphs projects all this stuff for every team. I did look at the Yankee one. I don't love it, but Fangraphs always gives like a really good like payroll everything. It's really good. I'm gonna put up my other Instagram. So if you can follow on this Instagram as well, I believe that's the user. I have like 3 different users for like all the social medias because they were all taken. This one, it's the same on Threads as well. So if you use Threads, give me a follow on there. That's my other IG for my other account that follows all of general baseball. This one's specifically for the Yankees, but that one's for general baseball. I do live streams just like this on there, so feel free to join on there. Same experience, but Fangraphs is what I'm using for all the teams. This is just more in depth with the Yankees. It gets a lot of great information, contract information, service time, 2025 projections in WAR, plate appearances, WRC plus, OPS, base on ball percentage, and K percentage. I'm not being sponsored by Fangraphs. I'm just a really big fan of Fangraphs and the resources they provide to me as a content creator for the Yankees and for general baseball. So shout out to Fangraphs for always having everything up to date, easy to find, and all that fun stuff. So the lineups that you see me put out on Instagram, like the projected lineups, or on X, wherever you follow me on, the projected lineups I put out are always Fangraph projections. Fangraphs also projected that the starting rotation is Cole, Fried, Rodon, Heel, Schmidt, and then Stroman is the 6th starter. Stroman could probably also be used in the pen, but I don't know. They might get touchy-feely with that. He might get touchy-feely with that. The only one who's on the projected 26-man roster that's on the IL is the aforementioned Jonathan Loaisiga. He will start opening day on the injured list. Should be ready at some point in the season. This also has, and I really like this, as I'm getting deeper into the writing aspect of all this. So follow me on everywhere because I'll be posting articles and stuff of in-depth analysis of all Yankee and baseball related things. It also has this great section of prospects that are in our system to watch over time. It highlights those who are on the 40-man roster. And yes, it puts Jake Cousins in as a prospect. The reason is Jake Cousins has minor league options, and certain guys on the 26-man roster don't. Peraza is out of options. There are other pitchers that are out of minor league options. Therefore, Cousins, unless there's a move, we never know. We'll start the season in the minors, and I guess Ben Rice as well, because he's not on the major league roster. But if Ben Rice is on the scene come opening day, or in the Yankee organization, I should say, come opening day, and is not traded before Stan gets hurt in like June. So I have a look of the season behind me. I said June. So Stanton will probably go down somewhere around like June 16th, which is a Monday. They'll play Anaheim at home. The Angels at home after coming back from Fenway. So he'll probably go down somewhere around there. He'll probably return after the All-Star break, and we're in Atlanta. That's probably when he'll return. So we can pencil that in now. This is obviously satirical, but there is some truth to it. He always takes like the month of July off. And now people are clowning Arenado with the highlight. I mean, Arenado does weird stuff like that all off season. Highlights. I mean, we know Boston is preferred, but Boston might not be willing to, so we'll find out. Obviously, information wherever he goes, I'll put it out. Obviously, if you follow me on Between the Bases, I put that out with a graphic on there, and I put it out as a tweet. It goes out to that. It goes to Threads. It goes to some other site that I'm on. But I put the thread to Instagram. It's cool. I've never done it until like 2 days ago. I'm like, this is cool. Shared it on Instagram, and it comes up as like a post. But it's like the thread. I'm like, this is great. This is just my writing. I'm like, this is great. So I've been doing the reporting like that through an app that goes to all three at once. So look out for all that sort of stuff. That's why I said follow me on X or Threads or all those. All my posts go to all three, so it doesn't matter. But that's really all I've got for right now. Until Arenado, is dealt, we're kind of in limbo. Pitchers and catchers report on Tuesday. Tuesday, pitchers and catchers report to Tampa. That's what we're waiting for. Is something going to go down in Tampa? Who knows? From what it sounds to me, I don't think Bregman's particularly close, and if he is, I'm just not reading it right. And I think that St. Louis wants to have Arenado out of there, so when Ollie Marmol and the rest of the organization heads down to wherever their spring training facility is in Florida, because they are in the Grapefruit League with the Yankees, and we will be playing them in a couple of weeks in spring training. When they head down there, I think they want to know what they're doing and what their plan is and who they're playing where, so they could practice and prep. So it's a two-sided coin. So Cashman waiting for the market to come down to what he wants. Well, St. Louis is desperate. It's going to come to what he wants if they want a trade partner, and that's what it comes down to. Cashman has the power. St. Louis doesn't. If St. Louis wants a trade partner, because the Red Sox are really waiting it out on Bregman, and St. Louis wants to get a deal done this weekend, they're going to come down to what Cashman wants. And they might offer him something that Cashman just can't refuse. And that's my opinion of what's going to happen. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in on a Friday night. 45 minutes. Jeez. This might be one of my longer ones. Thank you so much, and have a great night. Let's go Yankees, and I'll update everyone with anything that goes on over the weekend. Have a great night.